Yeah, and that's the thing is I just knew something wasn't right, and from going through what I've happened in the past to myself, going through therapy and having a bit like a depressive period a few years back, it was like that. Realised that sort of helped me go, something's not right, and
Yeah.
you don't act on it now. What will happen is in 6 months' time, you'll be a complete shit show. It will just make your life and the people around you and the people you care about lives a lot harder. So for me, it was like take the action now to try and get ahead of it.
So, welcome to the 1% podcast. Today we have Dan Garrity on. Dan, do you want to just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, a bit about you?
Yeah, my name's Dan Garrity. Obviously, I work for myself. I'm a self-employed contractor like different firms, giving engineering consultancy effectively. I'm a husband, dad of two. My boy is 3.5, nearly 4. And my little girl is just turned 5 months. So yeah, got quite a bit going on, as everyone else does, you know,
Yeah.
but just
I, you
the
also
usual
mentioned
hard
the,
stuff.
the uni work and the coursework you do as well, right? There's that too.
Yeah. So yeah, got course, like obviously I'm quite interested in learning. So I've got coursework. I've got like university, masters that I'm doing, as well as other courses in the background, and just the usual family stuff like trying to do an extension or trying to work out how I'm going to do this, and yeah, basically everything.
What's going on? You look,
Everything else
I
through.
can totally relate. I'm not doing the course thing, but family, kids, doing a house up, like it's full on, right? So that being said, let's kick off the chat and rewind a few months into the past, right? So you reached out to me, been following my stuff for a little while. What was going on with you back then that made you want to go, right, you know what, I want to reach out and have a conversation with someone like me, a coach?
Yeah, I think I was at a point. I wasn't at my lowest ebb ever in my life. I've been there and I've had therapy and stuff like that before that. But I could just see I was sort of like just in this state of flux the whole
Yeah,
time, constantly in this state of flux where I just couldn't get control of anything. I felt like I couldn't get in control of anything. I couldn't get in control of how I was feeling, didn't have any sort of like grip around what was happening at home, what was happening like at work. I just felt like I was just getting constantly like hit and punched from each side. And I was just like, what is going on? And I saw a couple of your posts on LinkedIn, and it just made me go, I just need some direction. I need some form of direction. And I've always been one for coaching. I've always believed in it. Um, like whatever you do, whether that's golf, whether that's triathlon, when I used to do football, like I've always believed in a good
yeah,
coach can help you get to the sort of get to a level or give you that direction. And I felt like with what you listen to a couple of your podcasts and reading your posts, and then obviously having a conversation with yourself, I was like, I need something. And whether that was right at that time whether you was right at that time or not, but I just had to go. I basically was like, I've got to have a conversation. So
yeah.
if I don't have a conversation, I won't know.
Yeah, and I think what you're describing there, Dan, is super common, right? And it's not it's not because you're a dick or you're not trying to do your best. It's simply because like work's hectic, kids are hectic, house renovations, like you said, master. There's all these different elements, and trying to get the most out of it, but kind of feeling like you said, getting punched from pillar to post, like not really feeling like you're in control of all of it, and that kind of feeling of not your exact words, but being on the back foot and it all being a bit overwhelming. And so it's being super reactive to stuff versus feeling like you're in control. Um, and that can feel quite disempowering because it's like, well, I kind of got what I said. I wanted lovely kids, missus, house, but I feel like I'm fucking all over the place here. And I don't think that feels great, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is I just knew something wasn't right, and from going through what I've happened in the past to myself, going through therapy and having a bit like a depressive period a few years back, it was like that. Realised that sort of helped me go, something's not right, and
Yeah,
you don't act on it now. What will happen is in 6 months' time, you'll be a complete shit show,
yeah,
and you'll just be like and you'll be all over the place, and everything will start falling apart. Not in a horrific, drastic way, first world problems and all that, but it'll just make your life and the people around you and the people you care about lives a lot harder. So for me, it was like, take the action now to try and get ahead of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's, I mean, I'm always biased. I always feel like action is better than inaction or stasis, right? Even if it's not the right thing, at least you can course correct and learn from that. But it's that whole thing of, I'm not going to wait until this is an actual car crash. Like, actually, there's some red flags here. I recognize how I'm feeling. And if I'm being totally honest with myself, I can't quite see the wood for the trees or work out what it is I need to do to correct it, although I'm aware that I need to do something. And so what I want is some perspective to do it. And I think the fact that you've done some work on yourself before, you have had coaching and therapy, I think that's helpful, because if you've had good coaching and good therapy, which you have, you know the value in it. You go, okay. And sometimes it's just someone holding up a bit of a mirror. And we've chatted about this before, Dan. I find, and I've had loads of therapy and coaching. If you ever work with a coach that hasn't, they're a fraud, in my opinion. But when someone holds that mirror up, sometimes what they say is really, you're like, are you fucking kidding? It's so obvious when you see it, but when you're stuck in it, you can't quite see it. And especially when you've got so much going on, it's like being able to take a step back and go, right, let's just get back to basics here. And there is a level of control that you can have. There are things that you can do, but we can often be blind to that in amongst the madness of life and work and what's going on, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think like my old triathlon coach, he used to always have a saying come out of the weeds.
Yeah.
Like when you're in it, you're in the weeds. You can't see anything. You've got to come out of the weeds to sort of get a better perspective. And I felt like that's what you would be able to provide me as a pathway to come out in the weeds and be able to have a look at everything a bit objectively,
Yeah.
rather than just sort of being sat there and you're in amongst it the whole time. And I feel like, yeah, that's what I was looking for. And yeah, ultimately that's what I got as well.
Yeah. And of course, I'm biased because I'm a coach, but I do think it's that having that perspective, or having something or some ability to be able to, like you said, just take a step back and not be in it to see what's going on. And when we do that, often the solutions and what we need to do, it's not necessarily rocket science or completely revelatory, but when you're right in it and you're also feeling a bit overwhelmed and stressed with stuff, it's hard to have that perspective or start. And that's where also I think there's that common thing. You'll have heard the guy say it, and you probably said it as well, Dan, which is like, I sort of know what I need to do, but I'm not doing it. Why am I not doing it? And could be exercise in the morning. That could be putting your phone down. It could be drinking less. It could be managing stress or not procrastinating. And you sort of got this idea of the things that you want to do, but for some reason it's not happening. And I think it's that ability to be objective and see what's stopping it, versus you just being some idiot who can't do the things that he says he wants. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I think that's what, we'll probably get onto it, but this process has given me is that sort of like objective view of like, where was I? What wasn't I doing well? Why wasn't I doing it well? And how can I course correct that? And how can I put things in place that would ultimately help me, and not hinder me? So,
Yeah.
and that's effectively, yeah, that's what I felt like this has given me, really. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a really nice segue to move on to that point. So we've got a good idea of where you were. Well, as we sit today, based off what you were just saying there, then Dan, what have been your, I guess, key learnings and takeaways so far, and how are you sitting and feeling today compared to where you were?
Yeah. So physically, if we go physical metrics, like
Yeah.
for me, I'm 10 kg lighter than I was from when we started.
Yeah.
So ultimately, that makes me feel better, because I've always been sports driven, athletics, like football, boxing, jiu-jitsu. Like I've always done sport, but when I was that heavy, I always felt like I was up against it, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So that's like one metric, like, which is made me feel fantastic. But for me, I think the biggest things that attracted me to your course and what you were doing was the like sort of the mindset side of things.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like I would always have the ability to be able to go and get fit again, do it, but it's the mindset. I think if you don't have the right mindset, or the awareness of your mindset, then you'll never be able to implement what you want to do. Like,
That's it.
and I feel that was the biggest takeaway from me, was that the mindset and the objectivity that through the lessons that we had, like doing like doing some of the some of the court, like some of the little like weekly tasks that we was doing. So the DeMartini's
Yeah.
theorem, the hero shadow stuff, which I think a lot of guys would look at that and go,
Yeah.
that ain't for me. But I've always been really interested in that. Like I studied like psychology at university, so I've always been interested in like how the mind can like impact how you feel and or how you react and act and do stuff in your day to day life. So seeing that, I was like, oh, okay, you could throw myself into it. And if I'm honest, that's probably the most impactful stuff I've had. Physically, yeah, great, but like the mindset stuff, like just, and it's not even like retraining your mind. It's just like the DeMartini's theorem for me was brilliant. It's like, these are your values. This is what you clearly care about. And I was like, yeah, I do. I already know that. Like, but it's just bringing it to the in front of you so that you know, so you can sit there and go, just brings it into the present rather than it just
Yeah.
sort of like, sat there and then it just goes, okay, well, that's my values, they're my goals, that's what I'm going to go for, that's what I care about. And I think for me, that's what's given me the most clarity and the like probably the biggest impact on me, pound for pound, was that. And
Yeah.
then also, and then doing the food and like the fasting and everything like that as well has helped and massively helped, because I think, like you say, your brain, what you put in your body and how you move your body are three things that make you as a human being like operate properly. And I think if you're ticking all those boxes, you're doing all right. Like, and you're always going to do all right. And then when things come to you, you have like, you know, I like, for example, when we started this process, I was like tendering for some work and didn't happen. Like, if I was still in the state I was before I started, it probably would have thrown me out for like weeks. Like, and I would have been in a bad mood and everything. But I looked at it and I was like, you know what? Like, that's the first time I've ever done something like that. Like, was you really expecting to get it on your first try, or was it, or was that just a great learning curve? And it's taking that sort of it's given me that ability, I'd say, like to look at things in a better light, and then to be able, and then obviously with the cold showers, getting up in the morning, exercising, like last night, like imagine 95% of the population didn't sleep very well because of the heat. So so did I. So did I. I had a 3-year-old and a 5-month
Yeah.
old. Couldn't sleep. Woke up. Probably had about 5 hours sleep. Crap. But I woke up, bit of a bad mood, but I was like, right, well, I know what's going to get me back on. I know what's going to lift my mood. Is like, oh, I'll go get a kettlebell. I'll do like 10 minutes, just 10 minutes today. Like this morning, bit of a cold shower, electrolytes, bit of food. Like, do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I feel like
Feel
I'm back
better.
level playing field now. Going to work, like, yeah, I'm still tired. Like, but I'm a lot better than I would have been if I'd have gone, I'm just knackered, like hot, I'm angry, I'm annoyed at everything, annoyed at the dogs they're barking. Kids are going to come downstairs and they're going to be angry because they've not slept properly. Do you know what I mean? And I think,
Mm.
but I've got up and I've made that choice, that decision to go and do something physically to get my body moving, because I know that helps. That helps.
Mentally.
It helps me step my day. And then, and then when my missus woke up and she was like, I ain't slept. Can you take the baby? Yeah, of course I can take the baby. Like, walk around the garden with her, sit, watch a bit of TV, chill out with her. I'm already on a
You
big,
started, yeah, you're in a good place to start your day, right?
and like in the past, I wouldn't have done that. And I'd have just been in a funk. And then that would have just bred into the day. I'd have come into work, probably would have been shorter with people, probably would have been less tolerant of like certain situations, which would have bled into the rest of the day. Gone home after a crap day, hot, going home to a hot house with a family that are all hot and angry and tired and fed up and frustrated. And I'm just entering that and I'm bringing all that energy into that situation. Whereas now it's like, ah, like I'm, yeah, I'm hot. Everyone's hot. Everyone's
Yeah.
not slept well, but I'm good. Like, and I've brought, and I think it's that energy that like it gives you, and that full, like it's like you're on the front foot. That's why I always
Yeah.
like, it's
Yeah.
like you're on the front foot all the time. Like by doing something like that, you're on the front foot in the beginning of the day. Then if you have a bit of a bad day at work or you get stuck in a 2-hour commute. Not that I've got that, but like you get stuck in a 2-hour commute
Mm.
and it's red eye, like on a day like today. It, it's not going to be half as bad as what it would have been if you didn't do anything in the
Yeah,
morning.
yeah, yeah, and
I think,
that's
yeah.
no. Sorry, you carry on, Dan. I interrupted
No,
you.
and I think that's the biggest thing is like what it's given me is that it hasn't got to be a 45-minute workout or an hour's run. I ain't got to smash it. It's just get up, move your body a little bit, move your body a bit, have a shower, have a cold shower, set yourself and go, well, I've ticked off 2 things today already that I would never have done. And then it, like you say, we're out of the 8-week stage, but like the supplements and stuff like that help.
Yeah.
They all help. And like, and it makes a massive difference. And you don't realize it.
Yeah. I mean, there's loads there, mate, which I think is fantastic. I think there's like what you're describing is the bigger picture pieces, like the values, the hero shadow stuff. And to some people at first, I think, especially some guys, are like, oh, what's this about? But again, all it's doing is holding up a mirror to help you understand yourself better. So a more like meta, so like you like the values bit. And often what that highlights, not with everyone, but often it's like, well, this is what I say I want. This is my values. But then if I look at and then what the exercise does is highlight what's your current behavior, how you live in it. And usually there's a bit of a disconnect, right? And a lot of the time, the whole point of why we work and what we're doing in the process is helping you bridge that gap. I think you were probably more closely aligned than you thought, but that reinforces, right, I'm on the right path. I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't need to keep second guessing myself because there we are. And then the hero shadow stuff, it's going, well, okay, what's me at my best? Let me understand that. And then what are these bits that trip me up? Well, then you've got those and you can understand it. And then when you're in like real life, like those sort of things in the background can help you just give yourself a bit of perspective. But then there's the very practical things that we can do to help ourselves feel good, look good, and operate well. Like, there's a choice in the morning. Oh, I haven't slept well. I've only had 5 hours keep. I cannot do anything. Knowing that I'll probably be grumpy and short and whatever else. Or I'll get up and do some stuff for me. Then I'm like, right, yes, everyone's hot, but I can deal with it. I can roll with it. And you're putting yourself in a better state to be able to cope with and deal with the day. And like you mentioned before about being able to be more objective around work, and even when it's hot or not, well, then if you've been started your day well, been more objective at work, been able to put that tender in perspective and not internalize it and how it's all shit and I'm shit and that's it. Well, then the version of Dan that walks through the door then is going to be there giving his family what he needs and what they need, and is more balanced for them, not stuck in his head about some tender that hasn't been won. And then with the right perspective, it's not like you can look at it and go, actually, this is great. It's a great learning, and we can move forward from it versus beating yourself up for not achieving something. And I think, like the key difference really is all of that stuff's the same. Like at the moment, as we record this, it's the heat wave in the UK is absolutely ridiculous, hot wise. Right, that's going to have an impact. Your kids being tired and snapping short because they're hot, whatever. That's all there. The only difference we're describing here is your state, and how you're coping and dealing with it. The life that you're living in is not changed. And I think for me, that's the real powerful tool, because it's like, well, I am now, like you said, front foot forward in amongst it, dealing with it. Now, is it all perfect? No. Do you still get things wrong? Yes. Will you still make mistakes? Of course you will. None of us are fucking robots. But what we're trying to do is stack the deck in your favor to be that better version in more of the time. And even when you're not, you can stop, take a step back and course correct it, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's another one of the good things is that you've introduced back into what thing is. There's lots of stuff that you've got us doing part of the program that I've done, but I've done in
Yeah.
isolation, or I've not done long enough. I've done meditation, I've done journaling, but I do it for like a week and then sack it off, or I don't, or I do it intermittently. But what this has done is just it's introduced it over like one step at a time, and it's brought in. And like I say, with the journaling, it's like it's brilliant. Like it's just a way to reflect on your day, on how you've acted. How you've acted. Have you acted how you wanted to act in certain situations? Yes or no? If you haven't, well, it just lets you get it out on paper so that you can go,
Yeah.
okay, well, I didn't act my best with my little boy when he was being a 3-year-old and I was a bit stressed and that. How can I react better? How
Yeah.
can I react better in this situation? Like, and I think that reflection just allows you to like improve, and it doesn't happen overnight. Like, don't get like I still have these moments, but I'm more aware of it and more conscious of it in the actual time that they're happening.
Yeah.
So therefore, like I know 16 weeks from now, probably when those moments happen, I'll be able to deal with it better rather than like reflecting on it. But if you don't
Yeah.
reflect, you never.
Yes, the first step is being able to reflect on when it wasn't
Yeah,
ideal.
yeah,
And then it's been able to catch yourself in it. And we've discussed this before, not just you, Dan, and talking to myself, whether I don't ever want to sound like I'm on a pedestal. Like, sometimes you fuck up, you shout at the 3-year-old because he's been a 3-year-old. Part of it's reflect, how can I be better? But then part of it for them is like, well, you show them how you reconcile, saying sorry without a but, explaining yourself to them so they understand. Like, so if you're willing to be open about it and look at your baby, not, I'm right there, wrong there, 3. Nah, I don't think so. Then it's like, well, actually, how can I show them how? Because that's a learning too, right? And so if you're open to that, we can use all of this as a way to sort of be better. And like we said, we're not sitting here saying we're both perfect to get all this stuff right all the time. That's not it. But I think that whole being more conscious, using these mechanisms to check yourself, I think that allows you to show up better in your life, right?
yeah, 100%. I think that's like you hit the nail on the head. It allows you to show up better in your life, and ultimately, all you want to show up in your life as the best, like as best as you can
Yeah.
for your family, and then for your friends and for people at work. So, and ultimately, when you do that, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy that you feel good about yourself because you've shown up properly for
Yeah.
everyone around you that you care about, and they're all of a sudden like, you're like, I am doing the right thing. I'm and like and I think what the trick is like when you do have a bad day and you don't have the best time or you don't react in the best way, it's not beating yourself up about it. It's stepping back and going, why did I do that? Or was it because I didn't have a good night's sleep? I didn't eat properly in the morning. I've got some other stuff going on at home or at work that I haven't dealt with that needs dealing with because then I'm just going to get off my mind and then I'll be able to react. But then also being able to hold your hands up and go, I'm sorry, like I
Yeah.
didn't act in the best way possible here. And I think it's having that ability to do that is what this process has given me basically.
Well, look, Dan, I know you're a busy man, as we've already described, and it's hot, so I won't take up any more of your time. I've got loads out of this conversation. I'm sure anyone watching and listening will do too. Let's just say someone is sitting, listening to this. They're like well, you were a few months back, as you were describing. They may be on the fence. Maybe like, oh, maybe now's not the right time. I've got loads going on. Life's too hectic. Maybe I'll push it down the line for the future. Or they're just a bit skeptical about coaching. What would you say to someone in that kind of headspace?
Um, Coining a phrase from Tim Ferriss, and that is like indecision keeps you standing still. And if you don't make the decision to do something, you'll always stay where you are. It won't be better in 8 weeks' time. Like there's no time. It's going to be as busy as it is now in 8 weeks. There's never going to be that moment. But when you take that decision to actually come and do the coaching or to get a coach, all of a sudden that time, you find that time. And I think that's what the coaching does is it allows you to find that time, that mental clarity to be able to go, I haven't got to go and do like 4 CrossFit workouts a week, like at a CrossFit gym. Like, great if you can, unbelievable, smash it. But if you can give 10 minutes, like if you can do 50 press ups in the morning, cold shower, and then make sure you start your day well with like a decent bit of food or a bit of fasting or a bit of something, the impact that that has over 3, 4, 5 weeks is like it's like compound interest. It goes through the roof, and I think that for me is the biggest thing that I would say to people is that don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Just take it now, do it now. Like do it before it's too late. Do it before you are in like the thick of it, and you cannot. It's so much harder then. It's
Yeah.
so much harder pulling yourself out of waist high mud than it would be if you only ankle deep. And for me, that's the biggest thing I can say is like, don't be afraid of it. Guys are quite afraid to ask for help and realize that they need help. And I think the biggest thing you can do for not just for yourself, is for like your family and your friends and your loved ones, is take that decision, is make that decision, and just go for it and throw yourself at it.
Mate, well, I would totally agree. And I think you're right. You don't need to wait for it to be really, really bad to make a change. And the gents I work with typically, some guys are in the neck deep, right? And like, of course, we can make it work and we do, but like, it just makes the process more difficult. Like, why wait until you are neck deep in the quicksand? Like, make it easier. And so, I mean, of course, I'm biased. We've got a lot of skin in the game, but I would totally agree. And mate, you're proof of the pudding, right? You showed up, you decided you wanted to make a change, you fully invested in it. And by that, I don't mean like neurotically try to do everything. You've just been like, I'm going to try it all. I'm going to be open. When things have gone pear-shaped or I've struggled or I feel like I fucked up, you've talked about it and shared, and the results speak for themselves. Is there more work to do? Yeah. Are we on that journey? Yeah. And it's great. But I think you should be proud of everything you've achieved, Dan. And, to be transparent as well, to be able to talk so openly about some of the stuff you've talked about, I think that's powerful for anyone listening. Because like you said, gents aren't great about talking. And I think being able to share when you are struggling, you do need help, that's not weakness. That's actually powerful. I think that's strength, right? And I think you're a prime example of that, and it's great to hear. But I think the other thing is, guys need to talk, but we also need action, like you said. And so it's all well and good talking. Then it's like, right, well, what are we going to do to solve this problem? And again, you've totally embraced that.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. As I say, it's really, really good to talk and to speak to other people. If you don't take action on that talk, then that circle just keeps happening. And I think that intervention and that action makes a massive impact on yourself and those around you. So I think.
Awesome. Well, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting. Thank you so much for taking the time. If anyone is sitting and listening and they're interested in having a chat with me about how I can help, drop me a note in the comments or find me a DM. Otherwise, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you all next week. Cheers, guys.